Do you know where I'm
What's up, everybody? Randy Nelson with Chieftain Forge. Thought I'd give a quick rundown of the tools that I use to show what you can do being a beginner blacksmith, just somebody learning. So I'm going to take you through all the stuff that I use to create the J hooks, the S hooks, these fire pokers and everything, and show that it doesn't take a lot of money to get started. All right, let's go. All right, so this here is my Whitlock's wood-fired forge. As you can see, it's not cleaned from when I used it the other night. I usually start off by cleaning it all off, sweeping everything, and making sure I have a clean surface to start with when I first work. Obviously, I can't clean it when I'm done all the way because it's super high. What this is a forge totally fueled by wood. What that means is I can use any kind of scrap wood that'll burn. Anything seasoned is great. I've used lump charcoal, but I typically just grab a bag of Kingsford original charcoal, just like you would for your grill in the summer. And this hood here is simply a piece of car hood that we had for scrap metal for the old 52 5-window Chevy we're restoring. And made a little cover. I need to order the Whitlock's hood for it. It's much more form-fitting, has a smokestack. And this is all powered by a regular bathroom fan that has a cable that runs down to a foot switch. So all I have to do is get a good fire going here, kick that switch on, and it gets things up to forging temps. Now this here, as you may have seen in my other videos, is my tiny little anvil that could. It's very minuscule. It doesn't have a ton of weight to it. I don't know exactly what it weighs. There's no markings on it. It does have good rebound though. It's not the biggest of anvils. It certainly works, but I'll look to upgrade in the future. This was a gift to me though, and the person that gave it to me was my wife's grandfather. All he asks is that I make, I use it. So I'm trying to do my best. Over there we have my camera stand. So if you saw the other videos, if not, check them out. That is what I had the GoPro sitting on a little tripod. So very basic, very beginner. There's my water quench tank. Looks like I need to add some water to it. It's an old pot that's been in this pole barn of Dad's forever. And then the two hammers I've been using. Here's a 3-pound hammer. Simply any hardware store. It's a cross peen hammer. And it kind of needs dressed, really, but it's been doing the job for me. And the other one here is a little 2-pound hammer, a little ball peen. I believe I got this one at Tractor Supply. Get them either one. So as you can see, it doesn't require a special $300 hand-forged hammer to get started and make things like this. This is the fire poker that I was working on the other night when the camera died on me. So it's almost done. It needs heated. In the middle here, I need to season it, and it'll be close to delivery. All right, so something I have to have every time I forge, using any kind of a coal or wood forge, something that you're going to want, is some kind of a coal rake. I had a coal rake that I had made, and it was pretty good, but I left it out at Curry's Antiques, where we do blacksmithing demonstrations 5 times a year. So here at the home forge, I wanted to make one that's a little more practical and smaller. So I came up with this design. All it is simply round stock that's flattened, and I rounded the edges so it looks a little nicer, and bent at a 90. And then I simply did a handle just like I do on the fire pokers. So nothing real intricate on this. It's merely a tool. It does its job. So this here is one of my dad's tool carts I kind of stole from him. And as you can see, it gathers and collects all the tools. You probably saw in the background of the other videos. But tools that I use, obviously my tongs. These are the ones I use most often. Pretty basic. Those were loaned to me. Same with these tongs here, bolt tongs. These are great for working with the railroad spikes, because it's a lot easier to grab around the head of the spike than to use regular tongs. But as you can see, I've got various. There's a railroad spike I kind of started. A ball peen hammer that I might mess around with at some point. But then just normal punches, pliers, channel locks, needle nose, stuff you can find at any hardware store, any yard sale. Grab them. Here's a set of letter stamps that I just got in today. So I'm very excited to see if I can even use these properly, but we'll see. Then, of course, you have my wood mallet, aka 2x4, my wire brush. Here's the wax. A lot of people commented about it from the treble clef hook video. And then my fire starters. This is basically just a giant match. You strike on the back of the box like a match. It burns for about 12 minutes. And then the fat wood I throw in there just helps me get the charcoal going. So as you can tell, I have a very basic setup. I'm very blessed because where I'm forging at now is not a forge I built. I started when it was warmer out forging outside, and as it got colder, my dad let me move into one side of his pole barn here and kind of take up a lot of space. Thankfully, he doesn't get the tractors out a lot during the winter for the mowing and whatnot. But my typical setup is I've got my forge going here, and anytime I go from heat, all I have to do is swing over here to my anvil. And for my anvil, obviously I've got my quench tank, got my tools there. I've got a little platform where my anvil is so I can keep various hammers or what I'm using at the time there. But if I have to do a twist, like you saw on the fire poker, I have to go past the old 49 Chevy here, coming through the double doors with hot steel, and make my way over to that vise. And again, as you can tell, as I move this around, it may be shaky, I don't know. But there's a lot going on in here. I don't have the best equipment. I don't have the best shop or forge. Actually, I am building a finishing shop where I'll be working on more knives. That's a separate building. It's almost done. Hopefully I'll be giving a shop tour here within the next month or so. But I just want to encourage anybody that is kind of weary about getting started. I've only put up a few videos, and I've already had some people message me and say, man, I wish I could get started. And all it really took was just some determination. The first anvil I was going to use was a piece of miniature. It was like half the size of a normal railroad spike. I don't know what it was a rail for, but it was given to me. And what really encouraged me, and I'll try to link the video down in the description, Purgatory Ironworks. There was a video that I found when I wanted to forge where he got to answering all the people that said, I can't do it. I don't have the money. I don't have a forge. I don't have an anvil. I don't have room. So what he did was went to his little fire pit in the backyard, just like anybody else could have. A little fire ring or fire pit from Walmart or anywhere you can just make a campfire. And he pointed a leaf blower at the base of it. And that got hot enough for him to actually grab some steel, use a basic claw, I think he used a claw hammer, and beat against a rock as an anvil. Now, obviously, a rock doesn't make the best anvil. There's really no rebound. But he was able to crudely shape out the form of what could turn into a knife. And it really got me inspired and got me thinking. So I started looking, and I decided I want to do the Whitlock's Forge just because it's very efficient to use. We have some lumber around us. We always have scrap wood. In worst case, I can grab a bag of charcoal pretty cheap. It's very portable. And I was fortunate enough to find one just as I was about to order one. And I didn't have the money, but a buddy said, I know you want to do this. So he was going to pay for it for me. I was able to find one for about 2/3 of the cost of the new one on Craigslist. So I jumped on that. Just in asking around. I asked around. Well, my wife's grandfather said, you can use my small anvil. I guess he's got a bigger one he ain't letting go of. And then the tools, I started off with some channel locks, which I'll show you here in a minute. They were Dad's out of his toolbox. And as you can imagine, getting things in and out of a hot fire with channel locks that were not meant to be near high heat proved difficult at times. They were very short, but I found links online where you can buy tongs for $35. So total cost of my setup here, including the stump, the lumber that's holding all this together, all of that was donated right there. I've got the forge. I think I got 175 or something in the forge, maybe 200 tops. I think I paid 175. And so if you can find one online, a couple $100 for a forge. If not, if you go to Whitlock's Homestead, their website, they've got them. You can get this whole setup for under $300, and you can get going. Now I know that sounds like a lot, but if need be, start a campfire, sell some things, save up the money. Don't go out to eat as much. So if this is something you really want to do, find a way to make it happen. I'm using a GoPro right now. I don't even know how this sounds, but the only reason I have this is because I put out on Facebook hey, does anybody have a GoPro? I do nothing about recording for YouTube. I still have so much to learn. But a buddy of mine that I haven't seen since high school messaged me and said, hey, if you can wait till after September, I'll give you my old GoPro Hero 1. So big shout out to Danny for sending this to me. The only thing he made me promise was to make good content. And I promised him I would make content. So I am. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. But I'm hoping to get better. I'm hoping to learn more. I'm hoping to inspire somebody else to get up, get out, and you know, if this is something you've dreamed of doing, or try and do it. Look for classes. Find another blacksmith. I started mentoring under Scott Nagy of Scott Knives. That's SXOTT. I'll put a link in the description to some of his stuff. He was local to me. He's about 45 minutes, hour away, but I made the trip because he was willing to teach me. So that's how it started. I'm coming up on basically about a year of starting with him, and that was just making knives. And now I've branched out into making all sorts of things and getting orders for Christmas that it's hard to keep up with. So thank you all so much. Please like, share, subscribe. Hit that little bell at the bottom of this video. Turn on the notifications for me. Let others know. You know what? Just inspire others. Go out and do something good for somebody. Just do good.